Hello, everyone. Hello, my beloved citizens of the Kleros Republic. Hello, Jean. How are you? Our favorite intern.
Doing great. And you? How are you doing?
I mean, I guess if you see the kind of things that are going around in the world, I mean, I cannot complain, to be honest. I guess live in a
Yeah.
country with peace, and then yeah, I guess all all good compared to the things that we are seeing around us. So yeah, and you, I guess, we share the
Yeah, me
sentiment, right?
too. Yes, yeah, sure.
At every time, when you see around you, you kind of start to feel like the southern cone of the world is not that bad of a thing, right?
Yeah. We have our things, but compared to what's going on, I think we're pretty pretty good. Yeah.
So
It,
today
and to,
is 4th of March and 2026 already. Wow. And this might be the last community call before the Armageddon. World War III now. Hopefully not, right? Let's see what
yeah,
prediction markets
maybe
say.
we don't know if it will be nukes or singularity, but yeah, we need to to enjoy each community call.
You have like either you have the exponential growth or the exponential. What is the opposite of exponential? Like the extinction type of curve.
Yeah, I don't know. It's getting hard, but well, we are creating the tools to at least know what's coming. So that's a good thing. And today we'll be talking about that, right? A little bit.
Yeah. So
Uh,
we have today a very special presentation of a new product. Well, I mean, Kleros is about dispute resolution, but also more broadly about like governance innovation. I already mentioned. I mean, we discussed in the past that I personally have been following this specific tool called prediction markets for a very long time. I wrote a blog. I think I'm the first person who ever wrote in Spanish like about prediction markets. Or if I'm not the first one, I am between the first three people. What year was that blog post, Jean, about the what I mentioned, Ogre?
yeah, I think it's 2014, or maybe, or 2015, something like that. Yeah, we actually did a research on that a couple of weeks ago, and it was basically the first post in Spanish and the first reply on Twitter. That's for sure. For Mercados de Predicción, yeah, we checked that.
That was 2014, and I actually, I mentioned prediction market. I used the example of an election with a politician from Argentina called Horacio Larreta, actually, and I think the election was Larreta against Lustó. They are still, politicians in Argentina and still working there, and so that was my first contact with them. I mean, I will make a talk actually at ETCC in next month, actually already. Where I will explain a bit about prediction markets and how they interact with Kleros, and also and how I got into prediction markets. It's a very interesting story. I don't want to open new windows now, but I just want to say that okay. So I wrote about that. Kleros has been interacting with prediction markets for like a long time. So Kleros, as you know, it's an oracle, and an oracle can be used as to resolve the claims that happen in prediction markets. Some of the most famous Kleros cases were related to prediction markets. There was back in the day, 2020, I think it was, when there was this prediction market called Omen that was connected to Kleros for resolution of disputed outcomes. And we had two famous cases. One of them was about how many COVID deaths there would be in the United States from, I don't remember the timeline, but some dates, and it was more or less than 1,000. And then, well, that was disputed because some sources said it was more, others said it was less. So Kleros case, and we had that famous, the what was the name of the that narrator that explained a bit about the the guy who someone hired to present the case. I don't remember the name of the guy.
I don't know. Maybe we can add Clement, and maybe he will remember. Let me add him real quick.
Oh, I'm trying to find like the name of the guy. I remember it was you had like if the data fit, you must have quit or something like that.
Yeah, the hooks that the guy did were great.
No, I mean, this was before the age of like AI, video. So this was like a high production, like effort, type of situation. So that was great. So we had that one. We had that case. We had another case. It was the January events in the Capitol, where there was these people that were like taking over the Capitol, all of that, and then there was because of there was this dispute about who won the election, Biden or Trump, and then some people say that they should be ruled invalid. Other people said it should go for Biden because, but the market had to clear before the electoral college. I mean, bring William here. So we need to have William because he's our constitutional expert. I mean.
Yeah, he's not William? In the chat yet. No.
Okay, because William would know the exact moment when someone becomes the president. So I mean, it's fine.
So actually, it was after the electoral college had voted, but before the president was
certified
named by the Congress or certified. Yeah. And there is some interpretation saying that the Congress could go against the electoral college, but it seems more theoretical than a real thing.
So there was not yet final decision. So this.
Well, there was.
I mean, it was.
At least according to Kleros.
No, I mean, Kleros showed its sanity by correctly deciding that Biden was the president. No.
Internal joke.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's quite public because I think Vitalik also, tweeted about that. But it's good. So then, Omen, those are quite famous cases, and also in parallel to prediction markets, there is this. I mean, prediction markets, people know them as some betting, tool that can be used for things like. Sometimes you can use it for sports, and you can use it for the political election. But in general, this is a way to organize people, collective intelligence to make forecasts about events, see what is the likelihood of different things happening, like someone winning the election, a war happening, Jesus Christ returning to the world. So all of these type of situations. And then connected to this idea of prediction markets, there is a governance methodology that is called Futurkey that was developed by a professor from George Mason University called Robin Hanson that uses prediction markets. I would say that in this room we have maybe one of the top 5 experts in the world in Futurkey. I mean, it would be not maybe exaggerated to say. So I'm call myself one of the main experts in Spanish-speaking countries. Not playing in the same league. So today we are really proud to say that we are launching a new product that is called Kleros Foresight, and we are going to explain a bit what it is, how it connects with a project by Clement that is called SEER, and this is a prediction market, and how this can be used by different projects to make decisions. So this is going to be the main topic of today's call. And but first, I want to just tell Clement that it's his birthday, so I think we should sing, "Happy Birthday" to Clement, all of us. So happy birthday to you. I even have a little candle. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Clément. Happy birthday to you. Now make 3 predictions, and you can,
Thank
yeah,
you.
or 3 wishes as you prefer.
Man, prediction. I don't believe in wishes.
Okay, predictions. Tell me when you're ready, and we can, you can blow.
Oh, what are the prediction? It's hard to make hard prediction, but yeah, prediction could be probably
Before I
more
burn
than
my
5
fingers, please. Yeah, I'm
probably
joking.
more than 5 to 10% of the economy being AI agent related. That's one prediction. Like we see in the next 20 years, maybe. Other prediction would be that most prediction market will not look like prediction market that you see on Kalshi and the poly market today, that they will tend to be micro markets on micro decisions or Futarki, but like just market where what will happen will become a very small niche compared to the whole prediction market space. And what is the third prediction? Oh, we're going to launch Kleros V2 this year.
Amazing. Well, you can blow the candle then now. Okay. Bravo. Woohoo. Okay. Well, this is going to be definitely. Okay. Come on. Tell us a bit about what CRE is first, so we get into a bit first tell us a bit how you got into prediction markets, and then.
We got into prediction market mainly because of Omen, Well, I was quite bullish on prediction market even before Omen. That was when was it 2016, 2017? 2016 maybe, when you had like the Augur ICO, which I actually miss, which actually was a good miss because it did not end well for them. Like Kleros, the basic idea behind Kleros are taken from the TrustCoin white paper, the idea of sharing coin, and the TrustCoin white paper was designing a subjective oracle for prediction market in particular. And when I was first at this idea of escrow for just transaction at the time, like e-commerce or paying workers, we needed to find a way to solve disputes in all those escrow cases that I was expecting to happen, and for that. To do it in a decentralized way, I got huge inspiration of the TrustCoin white paper. And for Kleros, what we did, we made a court system, we made a random drawing instead of drawing everyone. So Kleros was basically a scalable version of what was described as this subjective oracle in the TrustCoin white paper. TrustCoin never really materialized. The guy behind TrustCoin is super clever, but he's a Bitcoin maxi, so making something like that on Bitcoin is extremely difficult. Not even sure it's possible. So the Ethereum space took the prediction market to Bitcoin. Yeah, and we had Omen, and for a long time I was like, oh well, my role is not to make the prediction market, but to just make the arbitration system for the prediction market. And after being disappointed by the Omen team at some point, not the creator of Omen, but the DAO, which was not really maintaining it, I was like, okay, if no one is making a good prediction market, I will have to make it. But that was a bit late at that point, because it was like a year or so before Polymarket took off. So that was great in the sense that it was showing prediction markets were working well. And it meant that we had to revisit the focus, because now just making basic prediction market to predict the news was something which was already existing. And obviously it's more interesting to explore new territories than to just try to compete with an incumbent. And so I refocused more on more complex prediction markets, such as Futarki, DCD management. At some point we also have risk evaluation, things which are not just trading on world events. And then we had AI happen. So, AI is an old thing, it's probably, I don't know, older than me and older than most people in this room. But AI being used, being usable by by people more or less programming it, like what we see with currently AI prompting. This one is pretty new. Like before, if you wanted to use some AI tools, you needed to be a dev and you need to spend a lot of time. But now you can do that crazy fast. Like recently, I'm a Magic player, so Magic the card game. And back in the day, I developed my own AI tool to try to estimate what would be the best deck. And it took me maybe like 2 days of work with a lot of bug fixing. And recently, I did the same thing in just like one evening, just by prompting on ChatGPT. And I went even way further than what I went in 2 days of development by writing code myself. And you still need to know about machine learning. You still need to know about statistics. But everything is becoming so fast. And at some point, I was a bit skeptic. Like when you had the first ChatGPT, I was like, okay, it sounds like it looks like it knows something, but it doesn't know. And now, like most AI actually know what they are talking about in 98% of the cases. And what is the link with prediction markets is that now that you have good AIs, like those AI can make AI agents, and those AI agents can trade on those prediction markets. So this means that now we have unlocked prediction market via Polymarket and Kalshi in some way. And we have unlocked now like very cheap traders, which are AI agents. And with both of those being now unlocked, like the next step is to have those small markets for large number of decisions. When I say large number of decisions, I'm talking about like thousands of decisions, potentially even thousands of decisions per day.
What type of decisions? I mean, how can we see this like impacting, like for people who are not into prediction markets and into how is this going to affect decisions in the future besides what we know and that you mentioned of world events and things like that?
So what type of decision is actually easier to describe? What type of decision will not be affected by prediction markets? And so what type of decision will not be affected by prediction market are things which are based on terminal goal, like what do you want? Like what do you want in life, a terminal goal? And what are your values? Like stuff like, for example, like a debate on abortion is not going to be decided by prediction market. But pretty much everything else can use prediction market. Like pick any topic, can pick any topic, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to find you a prediction market for that.
I mean, we will ask the audience. I mean, if you want to leave a comment, what topic do you want Clément to explain with prediction markets? I mean, you have like a few seconds. Meanwhile, we go to some advertising. Jean, do we have
No, I think just to complement a little bit. So just to make sense of this. So we have basically Kleros, which is based on the idea that aggregating the opinion of different people might help us get like to the truth of something, even if it's subjective. And then you have like prediction markets, which they aggregate like the opinion on the price of something, right? And then now you have another layer, which is using artificial intelligence to have the opinion on price on these things, right? So then I think it kind of really puts everything on the same area of tools, right?
Yeah, like Kleros is to determine what happened, and prediction markets are to determine of what could happen. And what happened tend to be like discrete. Like you tend to say, okay, like this party should be paid or should not be paid. But as soon as you go into the future, you go into like the probabilistic realm.
I think I have a use case. So how can you use this for like in the movie industry, especially in a moment where movies are transitioning to like AI productions and all that? I mean, could you use prediction markets to assess for example, what type of movie I should make or these type of decisions?
Yeah, for example, so that would be like a Futark use case. So you can have a bunch of people coming with movie scripts, and you can ask, conditionally on this movie with this particular script being made, what will be the gross revenue of the movie. And you can do that with a lot of different movies, and you don't need to make all the movies. Like the traders, they trade conditionally on this particular movie being made. So you can give them like 10 different scripts, 10 different movies, and they trade on 10 of those, and maybe at the end only 2 movies end up being made. And those 2 movies being made are going to be the ones which are going to determine profit and losses of those traders. So prediction markets, they can ask what will happen, but they can also ask what will happen if. And if you know what will happen if something, you tend to want to pick the something which is going to maximize your goal. Like for a movie, it can be maximizing your, you can be maximizing your revenue, or maybe you may have some other kind of goal. Maybe you're not profit maximizing. You want to make the best movies. In this case, it will be like if this movie is made, what will be its IMDb rating, for example.
Okay.
Could we use prediction market to categorize AI-generated content in movies?
I'm not sure I understand well.
I think you want to find if a movie, or like if a video is AI-generated. Yeah, like you could do something like that. So what you could do is you make a bunch of movies which are made by humans, and you know they are made by humans. You make a bunch of movies which are made by AI, and you know that they are made by AIs. And now you also add a bunch of movies where you don't know. And now you ask people to predict if this is one of the movies where we know, would it be AI or would it be human generated? And so here the trader, because they don't know which movie you know, they are going to trade on everything. You only resolve the movie where you know, but then you get probabilities of AI generation for all the movies, including the one that you don't.
Okay.
This will be a form of distill human judgment.
Explain about that, distill human judgment. I'm not sure
the idea of distill human judgment is you are able to evaluate some items. Like it can be anything. Like in my case, it could be movies. I want to give a list of movie ranking according to my taste. So I can evaluate movies, but I cannot evaluate all the movies, right? So what we can do, we can make a market which asks, if Clément watches this movie, what would be the evaluation of the movie? And most of the movie, I'm not gonna watch them, but people, they trade on all the markets. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna watch some subset of those movies, I'm gonna evaluate them, and then people profit and losses will depend on the movies that I evaluated. But the process will still give an estimated score to all the movies, including the ones I don't watch. So we are doing something a bit similar with some Foundation and Gitcoin with deep funding, where we have a very large number of projects to evaluate, something between 3,000 and 4,000 projects. Obviously, you can't evaluate all of them. So what you do, you have some jurors, not in Kleros juror, but in other form of jurors, where they're going to evaluate those projects. But they only evaluate a subset of those projects, and that is what is used to resolve the markets. And the trader, in this case, well, they are AIs, because no human is going to be able to evaluate 3,000 to 4,000 projects. Those AI traders, they're going to make some profit and losses depending on how they traded in the project which end up being evaluated. And with that, we get a full estimate of, we get a full evaluation of all the projects, and then we can give funding to all of those projects. And this is getting funded with, I think, 350K from EF and Gitcoin.
Tell us a bit. Yeah, go ahead.
One question. The experiment with Gitcoin is still live, right?
So we had the first round, and the first round was maybe like a warm-up round, because in this round we did end up evaluating all the project. Using the prediction market was actually still useful, because here it also acted as a denoisifier, in the sense that what the market predicted the juror will evaluate ended up being better than what the jurors themselves evaluated. Like to know that what happened is that Devansh took both of the lists, like the list generated through aggregation of juror data, the prediction market, and propose those lists to participants and ask them, okay, which list of contribution is better representative of contribution toward Ethereum, and participants were more likely to pick the list made by the prediction market than the list made by the actual drawer. And this does make sense because you have a small set of jurors, and market participants, they don't really know the specific preference and biases than those jurors. So the market is actually returning some result, which is corresponding more on what would be the evaluation if you had like 1,000 of jurors, while you can do that with only something like 50. And those 50, they would have more variance than like the hypothetical large number of jurors. And so here market can also act as the nullifier. It was not the main idea behind this demand judgment, but that's something that we found on the way.
And then people.
And now like we're gonna have the next round, and on this next round it will be like the 3,000 to 4,000 projects to be evaluated. And here we're not gonna evaluate everything.
Tell us a bit, Clément, about what is Kleros Foresight.
So Kleros Foresight is a Futarchy / DC demand judgment project with Kleros and Seer. So like the front end was developed by the Kleros cooperative. Smart contracts were developed by Seer. The idea is that you can make your, if you want some information, like for example, with you want to evaluate the price of real estate properties, you want to evaluate what will be the amount of users on a project that you will provide some funding for, or you want to evaluate the movies that you want to watch and you want to see if you would like them or not. Basically, pretty much everything where you can say, oh, what if I were to look at that, how would I rate it? And you don't need to look at everything. You just need to look at a subset of that. And you can use Kleros Foresight for that. So this is the distributed management part. And the Futarchy part, in this case, is, for example, if you want to provide grants to some projects, and you want to only provide grants to projects which will have the highest impact, let's say in terms of users. Another question is, what if this project were getting funding, how many users will he get? And here you give funding to the project which have the best estimated amount of users if they get the funding, and only those markets resolve, and the other markets do not, are with projects which do not get funding and they do not resolve, and the profit and loss of the trader depends on the markets related to project getting funding ultimately. So it can be used as enforcing. You can say, okay, like I'm just going to give the grant to the best project according to this market. It can be used as advisory. So you can use this information as part of other type of information. So like this is made to be very flexible. Currently, we have this pilot with the movie experiment. So where we just have this one market with movies. But the idea is that in the near future, we will have a factory so that you can create that for any topic of your choice. We can use Kleros Foresight for price estimate, yeah. Like you want to estimate the price of a bunch of properties, you have an expert who can really spend some time, like evaluate the neighborhood, go on the property himself. And in this case, this expert will only evaluate 1 or 2 properties, and maybe you can get 100 of them. And now people, they can trade on what would be the evaluation of this property by the expert if it's one of the property which is evaluated by the expert. And most of them, they are not evaluated, but you still have the market estimate of price of those.
I really mentioned that I've been following prediction markets for a long time, and like at different moments in time, we had like the expectation that it would like take off, and at many cycles we got like disappointed because of a bit of low traction. So I've been waiting for this to happen for like I say 10 years already. Like, what do you think is different now compared to the past about adoption of prediction markets, besides the obvious world events that that we all know about?
So, quoting one guy at Manifest was like, Polymarket succeeded because Shane was not afraid to go to jail. which may be a bit of an oversimplification, but I think there is part of that. There is the problem that you had a lot of serious people working in the prediction market initially, like Mika Zoltu, like Stefan and Martin Koppelman of Gnosis. But prediction market was somehow like assimilated as gambling by some government and administration. So they either got scared and well, you had two responses to that. Like either they got scared and they were like, okay, like we're gonna need something which is completely decentralized, and that's what they did with Augur. And at some point, it was so decentralized that it was unusable. Like like they could not even move to V2 without having like a downtime of like something like 2 years, because they just had to wait for all the market to resolve to be able to launch V2, because otherwise the rep would be split between V1 and V2. You had Gnosis, which ended up developing product along the way that would be useful for prediction markets, like what now is CoSwap. Like CoSwap, I think the initial economics of CoSwap were made for prediction market initially. Yeah, like they will be a bit less risk averse. They will not want to run it themselves, so they gave it to the DXDAO, and the DXDAO was this kind of like radical new DAO experiment, which, as most of them do not end up well. I'm not advocating against radical DAO experiment. I'm just saying that if you do that, you are taking a huge risk of the project dying just because of the governance system, but it's probably still good for society to make those experiments. And then the Gnosis guys ended up getting like so much more traction in other projects. And then you had a lot of other people who were maybe not scared, but they were not the most, like one of the most clever or strateg. So Shane ended up being probably the most competent guy who was not afraid. And I met him back in the day, and retrospectively, in some of his action, I'm not going to give you the detail, but in some of his action, I could have more or less noticed that. But it's easy to notice it nowadays, why it would have been hard to notice it back in the days.
There is a question here. So basically, yeah, go ahead.
So it's not really a Seer plugin. So Seer is really a base layer that you make stuff on top. So like similar to Kleros, So anyone can make market, can create market on Seer, and can display them in their own front end, like organize them in the way that they wish. And if you look at Foresight, you will see that the front end is radically different compared to what you will see if you were to use like the Seer app to trade on those markets. So there is a Seer front end, which is app.seer.pm, but this is more of a general front end that could be, you could call it like the Etherscan of Seer. It's not made to be the best front end for anything, but it's made to work for everything, but not to be the best front end of anything. And I think most use cases, they would have their own front end. And now that like AI development, like popping up front end is going to become easier and easier. So yeah, like that's what I see here. I see as a base layer, not as an app where you go like Polymarket or Kalshi and you do all your action on the app. Here you can build on top.
Imagine that we have like a community member called Meduso maybe, and he likes to make like Kleros videos of like music videos to promote Kleros, and he wants to define what the topic should the next video be about, and how could he use like Kleros Foresight for this type of question.
Yeah, so you can bring all the topics, and you can ask if I do a video on this topic, what would be the amount of view that I would get? So this one may be slightly more complicated in the sense of you may have some bots attacking and like making fake views, like someone like trading on the market and then making fake views. I think someone attempted to do that in one of the Seer community call where you had something like 700 people showing up, and I think most of them were bots. because it was a market and the amount of people which will show up.
Doesn't surprise me, honestly.
So if you manage to find a way to actually evaluate what is a real viewer, which would be nice, like if you had a proof of humanity integration, for example, you could make a market of that. And if you have a proof of, like you don't need to force people to be proof of humanity registered to view the video. You could just say, okay, like maybe 1% of people which will look at those videos may be part of proof of humanity. So the question is, how many people of proof of humanity would view the video? Maybe you get 5. And it means that if you get 5, that's probably that you got 500 real viewers. And that's what you use to resolve the market.
What other use cases? I mean, movies, music, real estate. What?
Everything.
Grants. Yeah.
Everything. Like that's the crazy part. Like when you get into the prediction market rabbit hole, you understand that prediction market can make prediction. And yeah, okay, that's interesting. But as soon as you get into a conditional market where you have this like what if, you can use it to make decisions. And we make decisions in our life like all the time. And it can be micro decision. It can be, should I take this path with my car or not? Or the other one, which one is going to be the most likely to arrive on time to pick up my train or my plane? And all those kind of decision, you could have micro prediction market on those. Specifically, if you are like now that we are getting so many AI agents to be able to trade here. So, and this prediction market could be super fast. Like the trading could be something like 10 seconds, 10 seconds of trading, and maybe it resolve like the next day or even the next hour. So when I say pretty much everything, it's really pretty much everything. I think prediction market is a fundamental economic innovation which will end up being on par with the notion of the private company. Like the private company is something that is very obvious to us nowadays, like you can put some capital, people can put some capital, that you have some people who are leading the company, you have some investors, and the owner and the people who are leading the company do not need to be the same, but you have this mechanism which align incentives. But for a long time, this was not a given. Like for a long time, you had no notion of private company, you had no notion of limited liability. Like if you wanted to make business, you had to make business in your own name. If you were to die, well, the business will be split between your heirs, and that could kill the business very often. So nowadays it's something which is obvious, but for most of human history, private company is something which was not obvious. And it's also something which at some point got some backlash from government. Like at some point, UK banned company. Like it sounds crazy now, but yeah, UK literally banned the notion of company for, I don't know exactly how long, if it was maybe 20 years or something like that, but they did it. Because some people invested in a company, the company crashed, and then people were like, oh, we're losing some money, oh, we don't let our citizens lose some money, so we ban it. In prediction market, what they allow people to invest in a particular decision. So you get this kind of alignment at a micro level. Like at a company, it's very big. It's a very big thing. Like if you invest in a company, you are expecting that everything is gonna go right and everything is gonna impact your profit and losses as an investor in this company. But now, if you are making a prediction market, you can invest at a super granular level on simple decision. And if you are correct on the simple decision, you're gonna make money. And also, you can do that because it's more granular. That means that there can be more decisions. So actually, I think prediction market trading, like at least micro trading, is actually going to be safer than investing into stocks. Because if you invest into stock, you're not going to invest into a lot of stocks, so you will have huge variance. But now, if you invest into micro decision, you can invest into so many of those decisions that the variance more or less cancel out, like central limit theorem for the people who knows about math. So if individual decision can have randomness, if you make a lot of them, the result has very little relative randomness. Like if you flip a coin, you have 50% chance heads, 50% tail, right? But now if you flip like 1,000 coin, it's very likely to be something like around 4 to 600, So you really decrease your relative variance by doing way more experiments.
Imagine, like, for example, So people now say that AI is going to replace lots of jobs, and so if you are a young person these days, and a big question for you to ask is, what career path should I choose? What degree should I try to get? Could I use like a prediction market, a kind of Kleros foresight implementation to have people trade on the future key decision about what career path should I take? How could I use this tool in this way?
Like you could, but that's in this case, it will be market, which will be on the very long term. So I don't think the prediction market space is sufficiently mature to let people trade on decision which will only have impact in like 20 years, which will only be resolved in 20 years.
So this would be for like lower time scale. Movie next year.
Like you could do it, like to see in 20 years, but in this case, like you will need like a bunch of projects on top to be able to bundle all those decisions, like large investment funds, which could like sell share into sets of different decisions, which on the long term are expected to yield some profit. So it is feasible, but it's not the simplest thing to do.
It's like mortgages, right? A very long term, loans that, well, they need some financial structure for this to work. But also I wonder about the like moral implications of this. These decisions made by traders about the outcomes of people's lives. Are there like moral considerations to have in the use of these markets?
I don't think there is much moral problem, because that's the human which are still deciding what they want. So here, like the markets are to be a tool, because the market, they don't tell you what to do, right? The market, you go to the market, you tell them what you want, what is your terminal goal, and then they tell you to achieve this terminal goal. Here is the best way to achieve that. But you as a human are still the one who is fixing the goal. And that's similar to like what Vitalik was saying on the AI. Like it would be like AI as the engine and human as the steering wheel. And here, like it's like a prediction market as the engine and human as the steering wheel.
Cool.
I have a question, Demand, about what do you think for the decisions to be these markets to be as accurate as possible? The idea is to have like more eyes on each market, right? And maybe more velocity on how the options are traded. What do you think? What do you expect the ecosystem around these markets to be with AI agents? Do you think people will start pointing their agents to the markets? What do you think will happen?
Yeah, I think you will have a bunch of different people which will develop AI agent to trade on that. And sometime we're going to end up into a situation where there is one guy who is really the best at it, and he's going to be the one which is going to basically move the market because he's the best at it, and other people will not even dare much to compete. In some other situation, we are going to have different people which will have different bots, and the different bot may be good on different things. Maybe like one bot is going to like for the movie, one bot is going to be good at estimating how likely I am to like some recent movie, and some bot may be better on old movies, and some bot may better on sci-fi, and some bot better on something else. And so those bots, they should know where they are good at, and so they will tend to trade more heavily where they are good at. And here we should be able to have a result which would be better than the knowledge of any of the individual trading bots. And that's a way to aggregate data.
Interesting.
When all of this is, deploys and becomes a reality, what does the world look like in like 10 years with all of these tools already there deployed? How is our ordinary day in our life, let's say?
Yeah, I think like you have prediction markets which become ubiquitous, like how internet is ubiquitous or even electricity is ubiquitous. So like you wake up, you want to go to work. You have your self-driving car, which is running markets on, okay, if I take this road, like what will be the time where I will arrive? What will be my likelihood of accident? And then as a human, you will still have some setting where you can say, okay, like do I really want to prioritize super safety out of everything, or do I want to prioritize speed? And you can still put the cursor here as a human when you set up your vehicle. But then once you have expressed your preference of what you want to optimize, then the car just takes the way depending of what the market finds is going to be better. And you end up when your work, it depends on what you do at work. But in your work, you probably have a lot of decision where you get prediction market advice, depending on if I launch this product now, like what will be the amount of users we're gonna get. If you're working in marketing, like if I make this tweet or this tweet, which tweet is the most likely to get a high number of views. So you get this advice of prediction market at pretty much all time. And it's either advice that you explicitly as advise, or it's something that you don't even see it anymore. Like you don't even need to take the decision. The decision is by default taken for you when it's something which is obvious.
I kept thinking about the use case of the car driving to work. I mean, like, what is the market about? I mean, what time am I going to arrive at work based on what route I take, based on
based on the route that you take, yeah.
So my car is going to pick the road that the market thinks is going to be the fastest to the destination. That is basically.
By default, it's probably going to do that. But then you could even say, I really need to arrive before this time. And in this case, it's going to pick the road which is the most likely to arrive before this time.
How does this because that could be done by AI, right? Without the prediction market. Why do you need a prediction market for this?
So because if you have an AI, you don't have any guarantee that the AI is the best at its job. So for example, you have Twitter right now, right? Like you have the Twitter algorithm, and you have some AI run by Twitter which are trying to optimize for a score. Like the score is depending of if someone is watching a movie you posted, it's very high. If someone is responding to a tweet, it's high, very high also. If someone is retweeting, it's high. If someone is giving a like, it's gonna give a few points. If someone is like blocking you or saying show less of this content, that's very, very low. So out of that, you have a score, right? So Twitter knows what they want to optimize. They find a score they want to optimize. And now they're just running their own in-house algorithm to try to optimize for this particular score. But Twitter is probably not the best at running this algorithm. And now, like if you allow anyone to run an algorithm, you will have a result which will be either the same as Twitter or better. And it's possible that no single entity can make the best algorithm, and that the market, by aggregating the information of different AI algorithm, is going to lead to the best outcome more than what any individual algorithm could make.
I don't know. I mean, this is pretty mind-blowing. Do you have questions about this?
No, I'm still trying to think about this future. I do have like a couple of questions of, for example, what will be the markets, because we went to explore like which will be kind of the craziest things, like the most granular things that we can get at. But I think I would like to think about which will be the ones where it makes more sense, which one or which will be the most accepted, most adopted, maybe in the end. What do you think? Where does this tool is more, let's say, more easily adopted?
So I think at the one hand, like it's not anything is crazy. Like you can look at electricity or internet. Like you can see you get electricity and internet in a bunch of things. Like even like I have toy for kids. like before we had dolls, now you have dolls, and the dolls can make some noise and move because we have electricity. Same for internet. Like now we get like connected object which did not specifically need it to be connected, but okay, like now we can do it. So why not, even if the marginal gain are small? So I don't really see prediction market to be, we revolutionize this particular industry. I see it more as a general economic technology, which is giving like 5 to 20% productivity or effectiveness gain to a bunch of organization and processes, like either human processes or processes which are now run by centralized AIs.
One last question from me, Clément. Then I have to go later, but what is next for Kleros Foresight here? I mean, on prediction markets.
Yeah, like we have Kleros Foresight, we have like the interface for humans. You can trade it as human. So we specifically make sure to keep the list small enough so that human can trade that. We also had like a CSV upload, so that means that you can try to, if you want to run some machine learning algorithm and use that for trading. And then the next step is like make factories so that anyone can make those markets. And then on the longer term is to have those markets being made maybe also by AI agent daily, and not even with some human involvement. And the AI agent can do everything. They can make the market, they can propose a resolution, and sometimes the resolution is going to be contested. And in this case, you probably have some other AI agent which are putting bound in different decisions. It goes to a Kleros AI course. You have the AI again in this Kleros AI course which are giving rulings. And if someone thinks that the AI are already fucking up everything, at some point it's get appealed to some court where you have actually some human in the loop which can rule.
Kleros Foresight, Clément Lesage, I will leave you with Jean so he can ask more questions. But yeah, I mean, I'm super excited about this, and we really have like a little glimpse of the future, right? Yeah.
Yes. Well, see you in the next call, Federico. I think we can have like one more question about Foresight. So we have this ongoing experiment about movies. I think we mentioned a little bit, right? We have 16 movies that we Clement gathered as recommendations a couple of months ago. This will be the first experiment. So there are 16 movies that Clement might watch or not, and rate them. Okay, you're sharing screen now. We can share here. I think I recommended a couple of these. I don't remember which ones exactly, but yeah, I made my contribution. And right now, so anyone can trade on this, and to try to guess what will be Clement's rate. And Clement provided a list of movies that he already rated them. I think it's on the blog article, right? And so, what can you share about what people need to do in the page, Clement?
Oh yeah. So first, you probably want to get an idea of what I would like or dislike. So we gave you this critical link where I try to rate all the movies that will come in my mind, and you can see the rating. Here, what is important is that you want to predict the percentile, so those scores, not just the absolute rating, because absolute rating is not identically distributed. So since you want to take the full advantage of the full scale, like from 0 to 100, we look at the percentile. So here, like 25, it means that this movie is better than 25% of the movie I watch. Or like maybe, okay, Dexter, this is better than 90% of the thing I watch. So first, you want to find a way to try to evaluate if I would like or dislike something. You can also, if you know me, like maybe you're talking with me, you may have some kind of like model of my own mind of what I would like or dislike. Or you can, if you want, you can try to run some machine learning. Maybe if you give that to an AI and you ask the right question, you can probably get the prediction of the score I could give to the other movies. So once you have that, what you can do is you can go here and you can make some predictions of what would be the score that I will give to those movies. So if you did manually, you can do that. If you are using an AI, you can choose to upload a CSV in the proper format. You can predict in everything or some things only. And if you predict in some things only, and I watch some of the movies that you did not predict, it's fine. Like you will just get your money back for this movie. And once you have done all of that, you can go here. Let's say I can predict with one die, one S die, and depending of here's the estimate, the front is automatically gonna convert that into trades to determine what I will buy or sell, and all the trading logic is done for you in the front. For you just need to provide your estimate, and then the front is optimizing your orders, assuming that those estimates are going to be the end values. And yeah, I can just make my transaction.
Great. So just to maybe recap a little bit. For example, if the expected rating by the market is let's say 50, and you end up rating the movie as 100, then basically anyone that bought the token, they can double what they had, right? Is that like accurate a little bit?
Yeah, like if you have a movie which is around, let's say it was, do you have one at 50? Okay, maybe, wait. Anything at 50? What is at 50? 50, oh, nothing is at 50. Okay. I think 12 Angry Man is the closest to 50. Yeah, this one is the closest to 50. But let's assume that it was 50. So here you basically buy, if you say 100, like let's say you say 90, that means that you want to buy up token up to 90 cents. And the up token they redeem depending on the rating that I give in the end. So if I give a rating of 100, the up token they redeem for $1. If I give a rating of 66, the up token they redeem for $66. And your profit is obviously the difference between the price that you paid for it, which is the current price, plus eventually some slippage if you put significant money. And your profit can also be negative. Like if I rate it 40 and you rated it higher, that means that you will have bought some up token, and in this case, your up token they will be worth less than what you paid them for. But this is are all like let's say internal calculation that as a trader you don't specifically even need to understand all of that. Like as a trader, you want to try to find the best estimate, and then the front end is automatically making the appropriate trade, assuming your estimates are correct. So the front end can abstract all of this up-down token accounting logic.
That's great. Yeah, I think that's one of the main benefits of this front end, right? Because if you had to have the same markets on the traditional interfaces, then you would have to do that calculation yourself, right? Basically.
Yeah.
And this way, it's pretty intuitive to get what you can profit or not, depending on your estimation, right?
But one thing nice to remember is that your profit and losses will not really depend of whether your prediction was really close to the end result. Like for example, here if it's 55, you predict 55, and I rate 55, you don't earn or lose anything, right? it depends mainly of whether you went into the right or the wrong direction. So if you were overestimating something, and I ended up rating it higher than the current estimate, you will make some profit. Like, for example, if you estimate something at 61 and you trade a bit, but not too much, and I end up rating it 90, you will make some profit. You will make way more profit than if you had estimating it at like 50. Because at 50, you will be in the wrong decision, while here you will be on the right, you will be on the correct direction. Yeah.
Okay, so the most important thing is to be on the right direction from what the market is estimating now, right?
Yeah, and why do we ask you to not just to put a specific value instead of just up or down? Is because you don't want to overshoot. Like, for example, if you think it's like 65, the front end will only buy those tokens up to 65 cents. While if you were just up and down, you could overshoot and end up buying them for prices higher than what was your internal estimate.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. So when are you going to start to watching the movies? Like, what will be the method for you to pick the movies?
So I will pick the top 3 movies, plus one of my choice, plus one random.
Okay.
The one random is to make sure that even if you have like very low rated movie, you still have some chance that I may watch them. So I may still have a chance to watch Fast and Furious even if the market currently doesn't think I would like it.
I think that this is a pretty good idea, because sometimes people like movies that maybe they're not the main kind of movie that they like. So I think it's pretty fair to do that. So you will start watching now, and it will be revealed on at the middle of March, right?
In around a month, yeah.
Okay, the end of March. Okay. Yeah, so I think this is
in April.
In April.
Okay. Yeah.
Great. I don't know if there's anything else we would like to share about that. On the back end, it's all Seer markets, right?
Yeah, that's only using Seer contract. Like, there was no need to redevelop any smart contract.
Okay. And for reporting the responses, you will be basically publishing this somewhere, and then people can use Reality to answer that. Or how is it going to work?
Yeah, I will rate them on Critiker, and then you can see on Critiker what will be the percent rating, and then anyone can report that on Reality.
Perfect. And okay, I think this is most of the things that we had to share for today, right? I think I'm very excited about this. I have like one idea of what will be my experiment. I will like to rate this manually, then use like AI to rate based on like a couple of prompts. And then I would like to try to do something like super automated to see how it works, like with Cloud Code, maybe OpenClaw, something like that, and see how they compare later. I think maybe there is some advantage if you do it earlier, right, Clement? Like it's always.
Yeah. You probably want to trade as soon as possible, because here the price are probably going to be the least accurate. Well, like when we tested, like some people already started to trade when in testing, and obviously the least accurate the prices are, the most likely you are to find some misprice outcome and make some profit out of it.
Great. I think we can do maybe a leaderboard to see who wins this tournament, right? Yeah. Great. Well, thanks a lot, Clement. I don't know if anything else that you would like to share, because we have Fortunato here to share some updates about Curate.
Well, I think that's all for me. I will leave the stage to Fortunato and go to sleep because it's like 2 a.m. where I am. And to stay up for you.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for coming to the community call, and happy birthday. Well, next, how can you say, the next day after your birthday? So thanks a lot, Clement. Let's talk on the chat. And let me add Fortunato here. Sorry for the delay, Fortunato, but we had an important announcement, an important guest. So what do you have to share with us today?
Yeah, that was a very cool talk, and I think if someone follows X, having bots predicting on prediction market, it kind of is the job of the future right now. And actually, it even makes sense because Clement gave some very interesting talks about the bots interacting on prediction market and how they can be profitable and help to have, the right predictions. So yeah, very, very interesting talk. Talking about curation, the update from last month is that we in February on Scout registries, we had more than 800 submissions and around
Fortunato, you got muted for some reason.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
If we can start again, it will be better.
Okay, thanks. I don't know. I think my iPod just stopped working. So we had 800 submissions just last month in February, and 30 disputes on curation. And one of those, probably who is watching knows it, is the one about Jesus and the prediction market that ended up in the general court. Also, another interesting info, last week we anticipated that we are onboarding a new partner for Scout. We have a new open source block explorer that will now fetch information from our registries. And this block explorer is called OpenScan. In one of the upcoming community calls, they will join us and they will show you how you can interact with their platform and see Kleros curated contracts. Other than Scout, still last week we had a deep dive community call about agent, and we showed you a preview of a platform that we are building to show how Kleros tool can verify AI agents, but at the same time how this platform can be used as a blueprint to build fully decentralized marketplaces. Can you hear me still?
Yep, I can hear you perfectly. Yep.
We finished the building this week, so probably we will share it in our channel. What we are waiting now is to add the skills for agents, so the LLM file. So this platform will not just be interesting to interact with from like as a human from the user interface, but agents will be able to interact as well. And again, this we are creating this for the ERC 8004 protocol that have been recently launched by Ethereum Foundation, but the idea is to showcase how a fully decentralized marketplace can work. So yeah, these are the main updates, main focus from last week.
Great. Yeah, I think we can talk about it as a kind of a LinkedIn for bots, right? And we are starting, because if you build a bot, if you build, let's say, your set of skills, you give it, let's say, coding capabilities, best practice, maybe you want to make that work for something else, right? I saw some reports of people doing that. Sorry, of people doing that. I think we got someone that used maybe $20 of credits on some tasks on another very similar marketplace, and they got, I think, $200 back. So basically, the agent paid for the monthly subscription already, and we're still figuring it out, like which will be the most used tasks, what will make sense on this economy. We have a couple of ideas, and it's actually interesting that there are multiple people coming with these marketplaces ideas and building what they think will be necessary. So our focus has been giving an escrow, for example, for the transactions, giving this option to report malicious bots, and thinking about which type of curation that will be required. And each marketplace will see what they need, and maybe they will use that as a reference, right? That's the idea. I don't know if do you think it will be open sourced by when we released, or that's on the plan, right?
Yeah, you explained it perfectly. That's our idea. If anyone wants to use our marketplace to build another AI agents verification platform and add some additional use case, they can use our tool. So it's just to display how a fully decentralized platform can work. And I think that the general use, it's a win-win, because if you are launching this platform yourself, you have less headaches because you have less things to decide, less things to manage, because it's fully decentralized. So for the builder is good, and for the user, whether the user is an agent or a human, it's also good because it relies on transparency. Everything is fully transparent. You mentioned the verification of the agent. So if an agent wants to be displayed earlier, they can stake and collateralize their whatever the skill it is, and people will trust them more. Or on the contrary, if someone is familiar with the ERC 8004, you can see that there is there are cases of having fake feedbacks on agents because the protocol itself entails a feedback mechanism, and some of these feedbacks are basically fake. So with this system, it is possible to flag suspicious agent that maybe have fake reviews. So yeah, it's the angle that this can be used are multiple angle, and as you mentioned, we are also figuring that out ourselves. And another potential angle is also having it as a sort of trust pilot, right? For where there are like ratings and verification. In this case, they would be decentralized and transparent. So yeah, it will be open source. You are free to replicate it on your platform.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can wait to like set up something myself, offer some automated services. I'm not sure yet what will be the offering of my agent, but I do also want to give it a try. And it's crazy, like there are lots of people like how can I say, they're building things that are similar, and it's now easier than ever to build a marketplace because there's lots of building blocks that are already out there. Like for example, the standard, the ERC 8004, and what we want is basically have like a building block that anyone can add to their marketplace, and then we have this activity happening almost automatically, right? So that's pretty nice to see. And I think regarding the Curate, we also renewed the pool of rewards, right? So I think that these are the main updates for Curate, right? Anything else we need to share?
For curation, not really. These were the main highlights, and that as I anticipated, we are working on the AI front, not just for Curate, but for most of our tools to make them usable by yourself or by your agent. If sometimes we had comments of people wanting to use maybe our escrow, but they were not familiar with the interface, or they were afraid of making mistakes. If we are creating these skills, you can just ask your agent, they will set all the parameters in the right way, and yeah, you will be able to use escrow just through a chat, asking your agent what are the parameters. And there is, probably you also know, there is one builder who is already doing that. They showed yesterday they have a Telegram bot that is wired to escrow. So yeah, we are working on AI too.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, Fortunato. Today we don't have updates from Marcos and William because we extended ourselves in the community call, but we will have updates next week. What I can say is that the court for that is token gated for lawyers in Argentina is almost ready. We are actually just waiting for a couple of more jurors to stake and then get the cases from this jurisdiction in Argentina that is preparing, that is almost ready to get this case solved. So maybe next week we already have the first cases launched in this court. And we are super excited about this because it uses some features that are only possible on V2. So yeah, let's hope to get these cases for next week. And thanks everyone for listening, and see you in the chat. Bye.
Thanks everyone. Thanks, Gene. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Fortunato.